been a long time coming, but today we're gonna do a review for one of my favorite bands, and I'm hoping that you're gonna love it. Hey everybody, welcome back to Prince's Friend, exploring music through Prince. And this kind of review is exactly what our tagline means. We like to explore music that Prince inspired us to go and check out. And 311 was one of the very first bands that I got into after I was kind of weaning myself off of listening to only Prince music. I did that for 2 years where I only listened to Prince music. And we're talking early 90s here, so obviously I was exposed to a certain style of music. But the amazing mix of vocals from Nix Hex and S.A. Martinez, the funky bass playing of Peanut, the smooth guitar of Tim Mahoney, and the pounding drums of Chad Sexton come together to make up 311. It was the perfect mix of all of these elements that 311 delivers that I actually love Prince for. But now it's of course being done by a little bit more of a contemporary band who has their own original swagger, which is why I really love 311. And it actually wasn't until much later that I discovered that 311 were huge Prince friends as well. And they would end up listening to Prince at rehearsals for inspiration and to get them like pumped up. I've been trying to get an interview with members of 311 for a little bit, but it's hard to get in contact with them. But you know what? This actually wasn't my first 311 album. My first album was the Blue album. But as soon as I listened to the Blue album and I kind of caught their vibe, I immediately was like, give me anything else that they have out. So I went back to their first album, and this one is called Music. It was their first major release, and it was actually distributed by Warner Brothers, but then later on shifted over to a different company. But it's got 12 songs on it, and it's kind of the perfect introduction to the band. And while Music has a continuity to its sound from track to track, you can also tell that they took a lot of care and effort to make each song really kind of its own experience and as unique as possible. This is such a good album, and I've actually been promising another 311 review for a while, so I'm super happy to finally be getting to this. 311 actually just released their 13th studio album, Voyager, so what better time to introduce you all to this band? Let's get into the tracks.
Prove as your soul sings, spinning all around. Welcome to this groove, you can move right. We gonna take you higher, knocking in the quagmire.
So I love the song Welcome as the first song that you might hear from 311. It's their first song on a major release, and it is kind of welcoming everybody into 311's world. The intro drum kind of sets the tone with the and the groove is just amazing on this. Set by Tim Mahoney doing some scratch guitar, Peanut having like a really groovy bass line. Definitely the kind of thing that should be able to draw some of us Prince friends in. There's some singing, there's some rapping, there's some hard, there's some soft. It really is kind of a great mix of everything that 311 can deliver in one song.
Come back, slipped out the whack as a master laid out the music. Then I just say fuck you. The boy that nowhere.
So while Welcome sets a tone and sticks with it, Freak Out is an amazing song that shows that 311 can switch up styles constantly throughout a single song, which is something you guys know I love. The verse is completely different from the chorus. There's like 2 or 3 different breakdowns. They all sound different, and yet everything fits together in this perfect, beautiful, chaotic mess that I love listening to. They are all about positivity as well. To Visit, and this song just straight up rocks. It's simply about setting a goal and attaining that goal, doing everything you can to make that happen. In this case, you have to imagine them as a group of young kids who met each other. They live in Oklahoma, and they have this big dream of one day traveling the world and going everywhere that they want to, touring with their music. And then the excitement and the beauty of the fact that they were able to achieve that goal. Like what? We can all be so lucky. It ends with a short but sweet Tim Mahoney guitar solo before going into the next song.
I can't forget you in a version of paradise. Everything you do comes back to you.
And as I said before, 311 is great at mixing up the feelings on their albums. So we just had 3 kind of amped up songs, so now Paradise, they're giving us kind of more laid back track. A common thing in 311's lyrics is the idea of karma, and this song kind of sums up the entire idea pretty perfectly. It's about working hard, not taking shortcuts, making sure that you're making the right choices so that karma can reward you in the end. And it's funny because they reuse the "I'm always down for kicking" lyric that they had in a previous song, but here it takes on a whole other meaning. Before it was more like "I'm always down for kicking," like getting aggressive, whereas this one's more like "I'm down for, you know, kicking it and being cool and chill." I love it, it's great.
Swing, I'm doing my thing, crew. I'm showing up, proving out maverick deal that makes you feel ill. It runs in my family, fussing and cussing and bitching and kicking. If you ask me, I think that you're just
So
chicken.
Unity was my favorite 311 song for like the longest time. It's all about keeping like a tight friendship with your friends, your inner circle, making sure you fight for them, you stick up for them, and you always have each other's backs. I love it, and the music kind of comes in waves. It's interesting because it's like slow, and then it's fast, and it's slow, and then it's fast, and then there's a breakdown, and then it's fast, slow, and it just kind of goes everywhere, but it's so well put together. It's just such a great song. Into Hydroponic pretty nicely. And this song, if you haven't guessed, is kind of about the weird musings that you might have when you're high. And I can only imagine these guys sitting around a circle just kind of smoking and saying everything that's in this song. I bet they said at some point. I think my favorite lyric is, "Everything I eat is from the earth, right? I am what I eat, straight up earth, right? Nothing but a walking sack of earth. Nice to meet you. How do you do?" It's just like, yeah. It's weird because it's funny, but it's also kind of introspective and a little bit deep on a level if you take it as a whole. And that's what 311 is really good at. Musically, though, even if you ignore the lyrics, it's a really good song musically. It has the coolest kind of laid-back vibe that I would play at any party.
The songs I sing, they don't mean a thing if you're not there to hear it. But then, soon is the time.
For me, My Stony Baby is driven by the bass line and the scratch guitar, and it really just kind of drives this song. And then as the song progresses, Chad comes in with a really good beat. And you know, Nick and SA are doing a good job with their lyrics, and they're kind of going back and forth, and it's great. But really, like, the music of My Stony Baby is, I think, where the song shines.
Story time.
Ways away the haze.
Days spent contemplating, formulating,
Theory searing above me, swimming.
paying tribute to the view we look up to come again.
You my soul food.
Now, the next song is Nix Hex, and obviously it's a play on Nick Hexum's name, but this one is probably the best song on this whole album. The groove is amazing and funky and cool. SA and Nick do this weird thing where they're kind of playing hot potato with the verse, where they're kind of bouncing back and forth and entwining their words to make kind of a perfect rap between the two of them. It's hard when it needs to be, but it also still retains like its cool, kind of laid back vibe. And I feel like it draws you deeper into the song, like, come with us, you will love 311 after this song.
I would be a lot if I said I wasn't fine. Nothing to say, but that's okay. Nod your head to this. Messing around, I'm not having it. You right there.
Now, playing Plane is one of their biggest songs. They play it at every concert. I have been to personally 4, I believe, 311 concerts. They played it at every one that I was to and every one that I've seen on YouTube and recordings and whatnot. So yeah, Plane is a big song for them. And it's so perfect for getting an entire stadium to be bouncing up and down with you. The groove is so good that you can kind of forgive the fact that the lyrics themselves are kind of just like rambly, and even the chorus says, I got nothing to say, but that's okay. But in the end, great song, brings up some interesting points for you to also ponder on.
In your face, that's right, and it feels so good. In your face, yeah, it feels so good.
And this is another one that gets played a lot at the concerts. It's a little bit more of an aggressive song against all the 311 haters, all the 311 naysayers. They have one of these on pretty much all of their albums, sometimes more pointed, but this one's more general. Pretty much saying, we aren't new, you didn't teach us everything we know. We're 311, you dig? And the chorus again is wonderful for a mosh pit and can get the crowd singing along. And then it leads up to Peanut, beat that thing.
Peanut, beat that thing.
And Peanut delivers like a really funky groove, and you know, again, it's one of those things like that's totally stuff that Prince would do on stage. It's just such a great song.
Free as I stare at the sea, and I'm not coming down.
So now we're to our penultimate track on the album with Do You Right? And it's a song about like that moment when you realize you want to be with somebody, and it's actually a nice positive song. And I love the chorus, but if I'm being honest, I think its placement on the album is a little odd because I don't think it measures up to like the epicness of Plain and Feel So Good that came before it, or Fat Chance that comes after it, and it's kind of like in this weird place. I feel like if they had either taken it off and made this album 11 tracks, or possibly moved this one after Paradise, possibly a little bit sooner on the album, it might have a better chance of more standing out, and it might have made a stronger impact. But it's a good song. I think it might have made a pretty cool B-side as well.
Well, this one goes to all the birds that drown. Fuck the bullshit, it's time to throw it down. Fuck the bullshit, it's time to throw it down. Fuck the bullshit, it's time to throw it down.
And then we get to the final track, which is noted in all of the liner notes and everything as Fat Chance, which is great. But it's actually 2 songs in one. Fat Chance is a little bit of like a shout out to all of the people who helped them and supported them as they were getting their first album out. And you can tell that they named it Fat Chance because it's probably, these are the people who helped us and everybody else told us, Fat Chance, you're never gonna get an album. But it honestly just sounds like they're having a great time, and there's chanting and it's just fun, but it's pretty short. And then after a few seconds of silence, it gears into a song affectionately called Fuck the Bullshit. And that's gonna be my one time. I'm gonna say Forget from now on. This turns the ending to 11. It's a rocking track saying, forget the naysayers, forget the haters, we need to be here, we need to be having a fun time, forget everything else that's wrong in the world. I feel also that it's a great ending track because it really does give a chance for every member of the band to be highlighted. Nick and S.A. do really good raps on it. Tim is there shredding the guitar. Peanut's bass line is amazing. Chad is playing his heart out on those drums. It is just such a great ending for this album. It's really hard to find an album ender better than this one. So in conclusion, yeah, this wasn't my first 311 album, but if I was going to suggest a first 311 album to anybody, I think it would be this one. I feel like it covers everything that 311 is about. And if somebody said, I'm looking to get into more contemporary acts after having listened to Prince a ton, can you suggest one? I would say, hell yeah, you better get this album from 311. It's called Music, because it's really good, and if you like Prince, you're probably gonna like it. And if you liked any little sampling of anything that I played in this review, definitely go check out not just music, but their entire discography. Again, they just released their 13th album called Voyager. I think it was about a month ago. Go check them out. They are amazing. If you can make it to a show, do that. They do a big event every March called 311 Day. It's just so cool. I love 311 so much, and I'm so happy that I have a platform here where I can help kind of push their music out to the masses. Links are down in the description if you want to go check out their music on Amazon. But did you like this review of 311's music? Let me know down in the comments. Let me know which song kind of sounds the best to you. And if you're a 311 fan, tell me more about like your favorite album, if you've been to a show. Have you ever been at a show and you've bounced up and down to plane? It's one of those amazing feelings. If you did like this review, don't forget to hit like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification so you always know when Prince's Friend puts out a brand new video. And if this review gets lots of shares, views, likes, and all that, I'm definitely gonna move on to Homebrew, The Blue Album, Transistor. I'm gonna do them all. That's definitely the plan. Even if it doesn't get a whole lot of likes and views, I'll probably still do it. Check out our Patreon at patreon.com/princessfriend. That's where you can help support the channel. And thanks for coming to Prince's Friend. May you live to see the dawn. I love you all.